Welcome to my backyard. Sort of. Did that stop recording already? Hello? I'm gonna be trying to, plant some plants. I'm gonna be trying to pot some plants right now. It's just gonna be a little chill thing. Last time I did this, I I was able to grow them. Don't get me wrong. I was able to get them going, but I didn't even really forget about them, actually. I was about to say I kind of forgot about them. I was gonna say I kind of forgot about them, but I honestly didn't. They just sort of died. I don't know if it was because I watered them too much, or they didn't get enough sunlight, or maybe they got root rot or something. They just died on me, and I kind of gave up on it for a little bit. But now I'm gonna try to get them going again. It's been something I've been putting off for a while, and I really liked growing them. It was really nice to see them grow more day by day. Oh shit. It's really fun to see them progress over time. Look, I even wrote out what plants were where. Look at that. Isn't that cute? I originally wanted to start growing a garden because I read a book. It was called The Botany of Desire by Alan Paulin. It sounds like an eroticon, but it's not. It's a book about 3 plants and the relationship people have had with those plants throughout history. I thought it was a very interesting read, but it kind of made me appreciate plants in a new light. Look, here's like a dead daisy that I was growing. It died. So I decided to try to grow some of my own, and they all died. I don't know, I think plants are neat. He goes over a lot how plants sort of have drip. Hey kids, if you live anywhere outside of the Gobi Desert, you should be well acquainted with your leafy green next door neighbor in the Kingdom of Life. While plants may seem quite benign, the plant kingdom laps our own chatty animal kingdom in weight over 225 times, despite us ceaselessly trying to burn them down with newer and more innovative means every day. Though the greed of man is insatiable and eternal, it seems that our industrial lust still can't manage to bring the great Rasputin to his knees. Today we're going to be talking about plants. Not exactly though. Today's class will actually be focusing on the Botany of Desire and why this book made me autistic for plants. In all honesty though, this is just going to be a short book review, more like a summary of its introduction. Think of it like a movie trailer. I'm only going to be using quotes from the introduction because I think it's a really good read and you should definitely try it out for yourself if you think it sounds interesting. It's a book about plants by a guy who has Pollen as his last name. How could that not be a good read? That's like buying weed from a guy named Reefer. You're telling me he's not gonna sell me that good smelly shit? Anyway, the book isn't really about those 4 plants I mentioned earlier alone. He talks a lot about how domesticated plants have sort of persuaded humans into this exchange where the plants provide humanity with some sort of service, whether it be beauty in the tulip, sweetness in the apple, nutrition in the potato, or cognitive alterations in marijuana, and we bend over backwards to meet their every need, while providing security for the plant and rapid population growth for the species. At the very beginning, Mr. Pollen recounts the reason why he had decided to write the book, the moment he came up with the thesis of the book.
I happened to be sowing rows in the neighborhood of a flowering apple tree that was fairly vibrating with bees, and what I had found myself thinking about was this. What existential difference is there between the human being's role in this, or any garden, and the bumblebees?
Pollen argues there is no difference. Pollen's main point is that we as a collective like to imagine that we're the ones in control of our gardens.
We divide the world into subjects and objects, and here in the garden, as in nature generally, we humans are the subjects.
We view this relationship with plants as us being the owner of the object, that is the plant, and we place ourselves as the arbitrating, dictating force in this relationship, with domesticated plants being our thing that we control. But Pollen points out that if we look from the perspective of an insect,
A bumblebee would probably also regard himself as a subject in the garden.
as opposed to the object, the bumblebee, if it were capable of such a thought, would also claim title of arbiter. But we as human beings don't typically view their relationship with the same power dynamic. We're taught in school that it's a mutually benefiting relationship, without any slight suggestion of a power dynamic. In fact, Pollen claims,
The truth of the matter is that the flower has cleverly manipulated the bee into hauling its pollen from blossom to blossom.
with the flower benefiting from the relationship much more than the bee. Pollen claims that the relationship between himself and the potato he was planting wasn't very different at all, and that both man and bee are in the exact same coevolutionary relationship with our plants, ever since the moment we developed agriculture, and that the only difference is that we have evolved to be aware of the relationship at play.
The fact that one of us has evolved to become intermittently aware of its desires makes no difference whatsoever to the flower or potato. All those plants care about is what every being cares about on the most basic genetic level, making more copies of itself.
The question is, did we choose to plant our crops, or did they convince us to? Pollen claims that both are true.
The species that have spent the last 10,000 years or so figuring out how to best feel, heal, clothe, intoxicate, and otherwise delight us, have made themselves some of nature's greatest success stories.
The book explores agricultural relationships from the perspective of the mentioned 4 plants. He speaks about how the DNA of the plants literally reflects the desires and needs of us, how they have constructed themselves to be as seductive as possible.
The DNA of that tulip there, the ivory one with the petals attuned like sabers, contains detailed instructions on how to best catch the eye of not a bee, but of an Ottoman Turk.
The tulip has literally evolved to be optimally attractive to man instead of insect, because we have proven ourselves to be better workers. I really like the following quote.
These 4 plants have something important to teach us about these 4 desires, that is, about what makes us tick. For instance, I don't think we can begin to understand beauty's gravitational pull without first understanding the flower, since it was the flower that first ushered the idea of beauty into the world, the moment, long ago when floral attraction emerged as an evolutionary strategy.
I love this quote so much, because it's so true. So long ago, in one select spermatophyte in the early Cretaceous period, a bit of radiation, or an error during DNA replication, or for some other form of reason, a genetic mutation arose in that spermatophyte, which, through some cosmic stroke of luck, caused that spermatophyte to grow some number of leaves symmetrically from a single point, with that plant's seed close by. Imagine how curious this anomaly must have been to who would become the earliest primitive version of a pollinator, who, before this point, had never encountered such a display. God doesn't paint with straight lines, but it would appear that this new angiosperm is attempting to do just that. Think about how profoundly strange and novel it must have been to that insect, to find such symmetry in what you would have learned to be such a chaotic and turbulent world. It now feels obvious why the angiosperm took over the plant kingdom. Plato argued the presence of an ideal beauty. He described it as an almost divine concept. Though I don't personally fully agree with all of the baggage his theory comes with, I find it incredibly relevant. Plato describes an ideal beauty as a non-physical concept, but a stable, unchanging one. The form of beauty, we'll call it. And then under that ideal, objective beauty comes the concept of beauty that's found in the mind. What speaks to, compels, and engages the observer. And then there are the beautiful things we find, which resonate or align with the observer's concept of beauty. But these things are imperfect objects that only resemble what the observer's understanding of beauty is. Now, I ask, why is a flower beautiful? Or better question, why was the flower somehow more novel to the insect that had no previous context of what a flower was than the other plants who at that exact time had the exact same resources that the flower had? You can't say it's because insects are naturally attracted to flowers because they know the flowers possess nectar, because this is the first flower they have ever encountered. No previous context. The insect knows of no practical advantage by choosing the flower. The question is, why did symmetry win over asymmetry? I say it's because flowers are objectively beautiful. Through trial and error, the bread and butter of evolution, flowers learn to imitate beauty better and better over time by hijacking the pattern-recognizing minds inside all animals with a neural architecture. With its seductive mathematical imitations of symmetry, radial or otherwise, flowers are beautiful because they speak to our pattern-seeking brains. An object of symmetry, perfect or not, is like candy for the mind. A flower is a little sliver of perfection in the great soup of nature, calling out to the pattern-recognizing brains in the buzzing insects, humming around, saying, "Look, There is something important over here. Notice my beauty. Shouting out and inviting all minds by manipulating its own form to speak through the universal language of patterns and math. How clever the little angiosperm is to learn how to speak to all who can see, and using its new skill as a means of reproductive advantage. Ooh, okay, I've nerded out a little too much for now. Bro really thought he was cooking with that one. But the book is really good. Though maybe some might consider this an unimportant argument, I found it a very fun and eye-opening one. He uses the mentioned 4 plant stories as evidence of his claim, and he narrates the stories very engagingly. He writes somewhere between academically and personally, which I'm a very big fan of. Stories of the plants he picked are in themselves very interesting too. It gives a better idea of where the domesticated plants of today come from. If you're a geek, if you like to learn, or if you're some little pattern recognizing neural architecture, I think you'll love this book. That's it. Driven human beings to do the hard part of reproduction for them by simply giving us tasty fruits and vegetables, kind of, you know, like we bend over, and all they have to do is just like grow a tomato every now and then. So it's like an interesting relationship between us and plants, and I thought that was very nice. Right now I'm just trying to loosen up the dirt because it's kind of hardened since I last watered it. It's really dry right now, and plants don't really like that. They usually like water. There's a little fun fact about plants for you. Somewhat of an expert in this topic, as you can tell. You know, plants, water. I don't think I'm gonna have to do much to the actual dirt itself. It's already mostly like good. It's not like bad or anything. It's just like dry. Last time I grew a lot of cucumbers, they grew really well, but I just don't feel like doing that this time. I kind of want to grow daisies. Last time they just didn't sprout. I realize now that that's probably because the acidity level in the dirt or whatever wasn't right, or the temperature wasn't right, or it wasn't the right season. There's like a million things I could have done wrong. I kind of just stuck a bunch of seeds into the dirt and expected them to grow. It's a little bit more complicated than that. Kind of got to put a little bit more thought into it than that. So right now, my options are bell peppers, lavender, daisies, watermelon, and more bell peppers. Start indoors in a well-lit area. That is quite the opposite of what my room is. There's literally a bush right outside of my window. I live in like complete darkness. It's really depressing. I'm gonna have to find good places to plant these because I don't want them to fail this time. I think the daisies are gonna go great in this one. Let's plant them in this one. Look at that, like a farmer or something. I'm like an ecological... Is there plastic in the dirt? There are microplastics in my dirt. Maybe that's why they didn't work last time. Damn, look at that. That's plastic. There's like little shards of plastic in there. Can seeds go bad?
Hi.
I don't know if that's a thing. This looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This looks like 6. I'm just gonna throw those in. I'm gonna actually throw 8 in just for good luck because they didn't grow at all last time. And I need them to grow. I need this for my ego. Is this... no, okay. I just gotta add water. You're right, me. That's one plant. I guess I'll water them. It's a good idea. Plants, water. You know how it is. The thing about dry dirt is it doesn't pick up water well at all. It kind of just like does this. Look. That's awful. Maybe I should have massaged the dirt with the water before I put the seeds in. What the hell is that? What is that? It's some kind of green ball. Strange. If these daisies don't grow, it's not the end of the world. I think when I was really little, no, I don't think, I know. I remember this very vividly. When I was really little, I think like 5 or 6, and I think somebody asked me if I had ever eaten dirt before. In class, somebody asked me, have you ever eaten dirt before? And I go, no. I go, no. And then she or he goes, good, because Henry ate dirt one time, and that's disgusting. I was like, damn, that's crazy. I actually don't know if that's how the conversation went. I just remember somebody telling me something or other about eating dirt. And then I was thinking about that conversation I had while sitting in the dirt in the playground we had. I was thinking about that. I was like, damn, I wonder what dirt tastes like. Holy shit, that crow just made a crazy noise. What does dirt taste like? Like I was like really fixated on what that flavor would be until at one point I couldn't handle it anymore. And it wasn't a mind. This is the worst part about it. I understand like you being a really little kid and you kind of just mindlessly put stuff in your mouth. When I ate dirt, it was a calculated move. I thought about it. I thought, okay, I'm just gonna do it one time. I was treating it like I was doing drugs or something. Like I was smoking weed for the first time. I'm just gonna do it one time to see what it feels like and get it out of my system, and then I'll never do it again. And then I took a little bit of the dirt from the floor beneath me and I put it in my mouth. And I was like smacking it around in my mouth, like, you know, really aerating this flavor. I didn't hate the flavor. Dirt doesn't taste like terrible or anything. It's not like caca. It's not like dookie. It just kind of tastes like a little bit salty and a little bit like wood, like sawdust. If you've ever put sawdust in your mouth, I also did that when I was a little bit grainy. Tasted like dust, little rocks, and a little bit of salt. It wasn't the worst thing ever. I don't think I regret eating dirt, and you can quote me on that. Next plant. I think I'm gonna do watermelon. Cause look at these big, ripe, thick seeds. Look at that. Doesn't that look fertile to you? That looks like a fertile seed. Look at that shit, man. Look at that seed. I actually really love watermelon though. Not low-key. High-key, probably one of my favorite foods. It's probably one of my favorite foods. Oh, I didn't even show you my little... I made this in my high school ceramics class. It's Larry the fucking cucumber, and I put a cucumber plant inside of him. I think for this one, on the theme of produce, I'm gonna plant some bell peppers. And then once they get too big, I guess I'll put them outside. But I have dogs, and they're like low-key evil as fuck, and they always stomp all over the plants we plant in the backyard. They like rip shit out. And if it's not a very resilient plant, it'll just die. I'm kind of hesitant about moving my plants out of the pots, which is probably, maybe that's why they died last time, because I just didn't move them into bigger pots. Somebody told me that having plants inside of your room can increase the air quality. And I'm not really sure if that's true. I don't know, I feel like having dirt around and shit, doesn't that make like don't those particles get into like the air and fucking, doesn't that lower the air quality? Or am I stupid and wrong and should shut up? Is that a rock or is that a... No, that's not a rock. If that's a rock, then I'm fucking badass strong. So fucking having plants in your room attracts so many fucking bugs. My room can get dirty, but I'm not nasty where there are like bugs in my room. The bugs only started coming in from when I like started having plants in my room. I don't even know what they were. They're like little ant looking things. I know that they were coming from the plants because I saw like a ton of them just like fucking waddling around the little dish below it. I don't even know what to do about that. Oh, you know what? I should get fly tape. Fly trap tape? Sticky tape? Sticky fly tape? That shit that the flies get stuck to. And then they'll all die there. And it'll be like a monument to future flies to not fuck with my room. Because they'll walk into my room and they'll see all of their fallen brethren hung on my wall like trophies. I gotta get like fly tape. I remember, okay, wait. One time, okay, I was talking with my friend about the Indian poop festival. Because I recently learned that was a thing. Because I know this person, they have they're kind of like right-wing radicalized, but they don't even realize it. They think they're left-wing, but they're not. Anyways, they were like saying like how they think Indian culture is kind of gross, which is like racist as fuck. I'm not endorsing that, right? I'm not endorsing that. How they found Indian culture kind of gross. And I said, why? Because like, that's kind of just like a crazy thing to say. I find this entire culture of people, like, it makes me uncomfortable. That's like definition, like, xenophobia, I think. That's the right word? And they brought up the Indian Poop Festival as a point of reference to why they found Indian culture to be gross. And I first of all, I didn't believe that was real. Like, because that sounds so like, that's crazy. Indian Poop Festival? Like, That sounds like an edgy ass South Park bit, you know? But no, it's real. I looked it up. They celebrate it because they believe like a Hindu god was born out of cow manure, right? How many seeds do I have to plant? I'll just plant the one seed right here. Anyways, they celebrate the religion they celebrate the holiday because they believe one of the gods in the Hindu religion to be born out of cow manure, right? So they have like a whole day, and it's like, imagine the Spanish tomato festival, but instead of tomatoes, it's cow manure. I understand how people could get grossed out by that, right? Like, that's a lot. But what is this? Like, what am I sticking my hands in right now? This is fertilizer. This is like, this is cow shit, isn't it? Am I crazy? Or do we touch cow shit all the time? We touch cow shit, like, all the time. If you, like, that's what this is. And I don't think anybody's gonna think I'm weird for getting my hands all up in it. Like, I don't think anybody finds this particularly gross. Like, obviously it's gross because, like, my hands are dirty. But it's, like, not, like, revolting. So, I know, like, Indian poop festival is kind of like, that sounds like a lot, but... And it kind of is. I will give it that. I don't think personally, I don't think I could throw around cow manure all day and be okay with that. I'd probably be very uncomfortable doing something like that. But like, if you think about it for like a second longer, it's not that outlandish. Like, have you ever worked on a farm or, you know, been around animals? And also, it's not like they're throwing around human shit or anything. It's cow shit. Anyway, I might have to cut all of that out. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna put the lavender seeds in this one. I think for the big pot right there, I'm just gonna throw in all of the rest of the daisy seeds and the lavender seeds. I'm just gonna try to grow whatever in there, actually. I'm just gonna throw everything in there, see what happens. It's gonna be like a little experiment. I really like flowers though. I think it's so beautiful that nature imitates beauty, or nature interprets beauty. It wouldn't be imitating. What was Plato's idea of beauty? Beauty is like this hypothetical idea that's not really real. And nature interpreting beauty is like flowers and, you know, pattern information like that bugs are attracted to, and coincidentally humans too. And humans drawing flowers is human interpretation of nature's interpretation of beauty. I thought that was really interesting, because then what would be just like a human interpretation of beauty? Because when we draw and we make art, we're interpreting reality, and we're taking these little bits of reality that are beautiful, and we're recreating them in our own way. What would be purely a human idea of beauty? Is that deep, or do I just sound stoned? I guess that's like more like an impossible question to answer, because whenever anybody makes art, their art is just like the collection of what they've learned from the world. I wonder if somebody who's never seen a flower before in their entire life, like if they were isolated from nature their entire life, would they find it beautiful? Or maybe, no, I think they would. I think there's something very inherent to human beings where they feel like a connection to nature. I think everybody, even if you're like a little bed-rotting doom scroller, you have a part in you that is attracted to nature. You just haven't explored it enough, because that's where we're supposed to be, really. Like, we evolved to be within nature, and we kind of just like, we made our own environment outside of nature. And honestly, I think that was a bad move. I think moving out of nature, I think that was probably the hugest mistake, like the worst mistake we've ever made as a species. What was that one Hitchhiker's Guide quote? Some people say that moving down from the trees was the worst mistake of humanity. I'm with the people that said that the worst mistake we made was when we left the ocean. We should have stayed microorganisms. Those guys got it all figured out. They outweigh us like 10 to 1. We should have never evolved past the ocean. Big mistake. Because now we got like plastic, and I have a headache right now. I'm sure if I was a microorganism, I would never have ever had a headache. What am I saying? We should have stayed like the opening scene from the Minions movie. Just swimming around. This dirt is really annoying. It's so... It's like refusing to intake water. It's like fighting against it. You will become wet. I'm trying to give it fertility in life, and it goes, no, I don't want to be fertile. No, let me be dry and barren. And I go, for what purpose? And it says, to simply be. And I go, that way. Okay. Sounds eloquent, but that doesn't mean anything. Okay. I think a plant could grow in that dirt now. This one has daisies. That one has a watermelon seed. This one, lavender. There. Okay, we got all the little plants all filled up. Let's go. Now this looks like some fertile land. Yeah, I'm just gonna like fucking throw in like a hodgepodge. We're gonna like make like a little cocktail of different seeds. Look at that. And then we're gonna go. And that's definitely gonna work out. And that's not gonna work out. Oh well. I guess that's it. I think those are the plants. Spent a long ass time doing that. Okay. Yeah. Sick. Wait, what was that? Sick. Sick. Oh, shoot. And it's a little bit... My hair is a little bit more than I want at the moment. I want it shorter. I'm not sure how much shorter. Do I actually want to cut my hair? I don't know. It doesn't always look good either. I don't know. A little bit. It's just a little bit much. You know what? I'm just going to start cutting impulsively. It sounds like... Not like that. Let me see. I'm just going to start cutting impulsively. I'm going to start just cutting my hair. Because it's always in my face and shit. Okay, I don't know what a good haircut. We should start with the front. Like, wait, should I comb it? I'm not gonna go grab a comb. Ow. Okay. That is a lot of hair. Yeah, fluffy hair. I have a pimple in the center of my nose. And I think my goal is to look like him. Yeah. I'm not sure if I want the whole, like, big look anymore, too. It's a little much. Yeah, fluffy hair. It's too much. Big look, as if I did that very intentionally. Watch me cut out, like, chunks and chunks of hair, and by the end, I look exactly the same. My efforts are in vain. Pushing a boulder up a hill. It's not in my face anymore. That's a step in the right direction. I'm gonna get to a point where I'm like, oh, that's alright, and then I'm gonna keep going, and then I'm like, oh, I don't know. Oh shit, my scissor. That was a lot of hair. My fucking finger got stuck in there, and it was turning fucking blue. Do I like the hair in the back? I think somebody told me I should keep it, but I'm not sure. No, I don't know. Wait, let me do a little spin. Maybe I should get somebody else to do that. Also, I cut a fucking ton of hair. That's a lot. I feel like that's a lot of hair, but it's also probably not. What do you think? I think the other day my mom called me a caveman the other day. And I thought that was really funny. That was incentive to not cut my hair. But I also am gonna have to start doing job interviews soon. So I don't think caveman aesthetic is very popular with employers these days. Ever since Fred Flintstone got caught in money laundering. Cut that shit out. That was lame as fuck. Oh no. I want to keep. I don't know what to do. I'm scared to cut in the back. Pretend like it's not. I feel like the front is calling for me to cut in the back. I prefer that more or less. You know what I look like? I look like Dr. Nowhere right now. I saw on Pinterest one time. I saw a picture of him. That's what this is reminding me of. I look like Dr. Nowhere. No, my haircut already looks like crap. It's okay if it looks like crap in the back, right? It already looks like crap. That's like good. I should do it like this. Yeah. Yeah. This is just like just like that was maybe a bad move. Now,
No, that's all
I don't
right.
know if it's even at all. It doesn't matter. I don't care if it's even. Why am I pretending? I don't care. Does it look good? I can't see what it looks like. Oh my god, that was a lot of hair. I cut off a lot of hair today. That's actually a lot of hair I just cut off. Oh. Yeah, somebody called me Rebecca Sugar the other day, and that's what made me really want to get a haircut. It's not like there's nothing wrong with Rebecca Sugar. I'm
There's
sure
not-
she's great. That she's the creator of Adventure Time. I don't know. I just like. I don't know. It was an insult. Was the thing. So I didn't like it.
I don't think it looks half bad.
I just kind of look like I cut my own hair side by side. I think I don't hate it. I don't think I hate it. I think it came out all right. Damn, I could make like a pillow out of that or something. Bam. Is it still on the thing? And I think that's it. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Wait, let me take the camera up. Oh, hell yeah. That's literally SpongeBob. That's literally SpongeBob and his fucked up tiny arm that I didn't get the proportions right, but I don't really give a fuck. I don't really care. I spent way too much time on the conch, and I didn't even get it to look really accurate. The colors are way different on the original, and so is the shape. But, like, whatever, man. You know, I think it looks good enough. Good enough. Hi. Hi, my name is your host. Nothing special right now, no editing, sorry. There was supposed to be one last bit, but I do not want to edit that right now. I'm kind of bored of this project. I hope you understand. I've been working on it for a little bit now, maybe a little too long. If you were like curious about what it was gonna be, it was like nothing special. Do you remember that that phone from earlier, it was just gonna be like how I made that, because it was like a regular phone, and then I turned it into a microphone that I could plug into devices and record on it. And I thought it was pretty cool, but I don't want to edit that because that sounds kind of boring right now. I hope you like the video so far though, or so far, it's kind of over. Sorry. Nothing more past this point. But also, don't get it wrong. This video wasn't really supposed to be for your enjoyment. I hope that's clear. If you were ever like thinking that the editing was all jumpy and the video was all over the place, that's kind of how this project was supposed to work. I just gave myself like, I think a couple hours of footage. Okay, the idea was, it was like practice for like getting better at making like videos, because I want to do that a lot. I want to make cool stuff to give myself something very low stakes to try to make look interesting. I think most of it looks pretty interesting. I'm not happy with all of the parts, but you can't win them all. I'm sure Muhammad Ali didn't win every fight he was in. I kind of like how this whole thing came out though. And it's not very good, but I think I still really like it. I know I still really like it. Cause, I don't know, I made it, and that's pretty dope. Potted plants. Those all died, by the way. I want you to know. I'm not gonna show you their growth cycle. I was gonna do that too. I was gonna do like a little recap at the end where I show you how all those plants did. Only like 2 of them grew, and both of them died. Honestly, I'm not even really tired of making things. I'm just tired of this project. I think I'm gonna immediately start working on my next thing I want to do. I'm being a little nonchalant right now, but that's just because I didn't get any sleep last night. But this was really fun. I think that's about all I have to say. I like making shit. I'm gonna make more shit. This was fun practice and a fun project. All right, that's like it though. I think that's about it. Yeah.